Hello, Newport, and welcome to From the Desk of the Mayor. Thank you to NEK-TV for always putting this show on so that I can speak to our residents, and the citizens of Newport will be kept up to date on what is going on. It is so important that I have avenues to reach out and speak with everybody and keep you in the loop as much as I possibly can. That is why I also have my mayor's hours on Mondays from 9 to 11 a.m. at the council room, and on Wednesdays from 9 to 11 by appointment. And of course, I take your emails and your calls as appropriate. But coming to see me at the mayor's hours are the best avenue, because you also get to meet other of your fellow residents and you get to hear some of the issues and see how they're getting resolved. And sometimes you have the same issues. And sometimes you just have great ideas that you're sharing and we take them back to the council. So it's really important that you continue to reach out and speak to your mayor. When I became the mayor, it was because there was a special election, and that election was due to the resignation of former Mayor Barnes. She left her position suddenly, claiming extensive bullying and insubordination and abusive communications and much more. I found the City of Newport, when I entered after I was sworn in, to be in a situation that was in fact full of difficulties. Some people would just classify those difficulties as the city's in a mess. When I went in, there were just a few things that I found. I found that, there was not a true following of the charter and the law. And that was pretty serious, and that was creating more confusion, and that was creating false authorities and losing the ability to keep the city in compliance. A handful of employees who believed that they could just rally together to be insubordinate and try to continue that bullying and those same tactics that were experienced by former Mayor Barnes was continuing. It was done in a united way. There was former misapplication of designated funds. There was unauthorized signing of contracts. There were reckless actions that actually put the city in potential litigious situations at a financial cost. There were breach of interim city manager contracts. There were illegal and inappropriate deletion of emails by both elected officials as well as officers of the city. There were, from my own watchings of historical NEK-TV showings, continual successful attempts by attorney citizen Bierling to take control of the council meetings and the mayor and the city manager, and tries to engage the city attorneys in inappropriate legal bantering that kept going on and on and on during those meetings. There was a failure to actually follow through on the grants and collection of monies, which was quite serious. And there was hiding or postings of cash flow problems through cost shifting and other tactics. This is something that should not have happened, but over the years, this is what did happen and became the norm, in spite of the fact that we have a charter and laws that are explicit that we must be compliant with. Whether or not those people appreciated it or cared is not relevant. We must follow the charter and the law. It is there for a reason, and it's actually in good form. So this is just a tad of what I have done and I'm continuing to do. The charter and the law are now being followed, and many compliance policies have actually been put in place, and they continue to be appropriate processes, and that is helping our city run more smoothly. We need guidelines. We need policies. We need these protections. We need to be in compliance, especially if we wish to continue to receive state and federal funding. especially if we wish to be partners with businesses and other parties and stakeholders. Employees have actually now been given training and supervision and proper directives to minimize the inappropriate behaviors. This is still going to be ongoing, as we still have some situations out there that need to be addressed, and I am continuing to investigate those matters, and will deal with those less and less employees, and we will make sure that we get those behaviors intact. The city is in several litigations, so it is important that the mayor is the face for the news, because when you're in litigation, it is important that, the drama doesn't continue out there, particularly when people do not understand the legal issues. Monies are no longer being misapplied, which has identified where those cash flows issues stemmed from. So we now understand why there was such a need for continual financing, when in fact there were monies out there that should have been applied for and brought in, and it would not have meant that the city needed to continue to carry that burden. Unauthorized signed contracts have actually been identified, and measures have now been taken to minimize, and the ramifications from those contracts are minimized, and as well as any liability that would have occurred to the city. The current city manager situation was actually addressed, and the headhunters have offered the city a nice reimbursement due to those circumstances, and the council has agreed to accept that. We also discussed at the council meeting last night the retention of a new city manager, and I will be speaking with the headhunters to see what a headhunter contract might cost going forward, and I will alert the council members so we know how to proceed in our search for the new city manager. The potential litigation situations have been resolved, and they are continuing to be resolved. So the litigation that is out there is being dealt with by our city attorneys and attorneys that we have retained for the different legal matters. The policy regarding email retention and the taping of phone calls and other communications, those were put in place now by the council, and the mayor actually worked with the city attorneys and IT to retrieve the majority of the inappropriately deleted emails. That's very important, because deletion of emails, particularly when you are in litigation, is a very serious issue, because you have the obligation by the court to retain any emails or communications that may be part of discovery. Citizen Attorney Bierling, who was the attorney historically on the tapes that I watched and mentioned before, now mostly follows the directive of the mayor and speaks when recognized at the council meetings. If she is disruptive, she is asked to leave the meetings. She is not allowed to engage any further in pretend legal practice or questioning with the city attorneys at council meetings. When you come to the council meetings, there's a comment period. The attorney Bierling is not authorized or allowed to ask questions to our city attorneys. She speaks to the mayor just like every other citizen, and the mayor takes that information in, and as appropriate, we will respond if necessary. An internal grant manager, very important, has actually been assigned. And thousands of dollars of grant monies are now being retrieved, and they will be applied appropriately. Compliance with grant deadlines and filing deadlines that were not being complied with historically, as well as over the past reign of the former city manager, are now going to be compliant. And the change to this internal grant manager will save the city thousands of dollars from the former practice of continual outside consultants and the lack of follow-through by city managers. Real-time department head tracking of time has been put into play. We are now tracking the department heads' times and where those allocations of their time should go. And that will replace the gross estimates and misapplication of their time, so they will now be applied to the appropriate funds. The change in the council members since I came on board has created a transitioning climate from this good old boys style over the many, many years, that type of leadership, to a more transparent, law-abiding majority of council members. And I see positive actions being taken place. I see conversations. I see questions. More information is being shared by me as the mayor to these council members. President Vachon, who sadly has made an announcement last evening at the council meeting that he will not be running again this term, has been a wonderful president of the council and has worked in tandem with the mayor to learn as much about the city as possible, attend meetings with the mayor, come up with negotiations with the mayor, and work hand in hand with the mayor. And that is what the president of the council is supposed to do. So together in a united front, we work together. We wish President Vachon the best of luck on his new endeavors, and I have a feeling we'll see him run again sometime in the future. But right now, he has children, and he wants to see those kids grow up, and I don't blame him for that. So thank you again, President Vachon, for your service. We greatly appreciate everything you have done. There is right now an alderman who is operating under the premise that he is allowed to do whatever he likes, interfere with city people, employees, and question them and pretty much run amok. We've dealt with this alderman already. It is inappropriate. He has been told over and over again that he is not to do that. However, he is continuing to do what he wants. He is aligned with Attorney Bierling's apparent mission. It's obvious. He is providing executive session documents to third parties as well as to Ms. Bierling. And this is something that is inappropriate. Executive session documents are exactly that. For the council in executive session. They are documents and they are representations by our city attorneys that are attorney-client privilege. And one alderman does not release that attorney-client privilege. It is very important that we work together. We have been bombarded with public records requests by Attorney Bierling, as well as this council member who is asking for public records requests as well. To what end? Okay, we know that Attorney Bierling has filed what we consider a totally indiscernible, frivolous lawsuit. And why would an alderman wish to align with a lawsuit against the city, which is what is apparent by the actions as well as documentation? The failure by the city to apply for a specific bond that was voted upon by the citizens for a project is being corrected. The bank now has the appropriate information and the documents to disperse the funds that were legally due to the city that are now being done. Thank you to our new internal grant manager for working with the mayor on this and making sure that we are getting this in compliance, and we are looking forward to those funds, and that some of them have already been provided to the city. And that is the key. Compliance, compliance, the charter, the law. If you do that, everybody should work in tandem and know what's going on. You do not have just groups of inciting employees from the old style, or have council members who decide that they don't want to follow the charter and they will kind of do handshake deals. That's not the way government is supposed to work. We are here to protect our citizens. We are here to follow the law. It is very important that you understand that we analyze the needs of the fire department, and the front management office of the city has already taken place, and we are appropriately assessing those needs. We look forward to having a fire chief appointment in the near future. As I told you, we are already going to be advertising for the new city manager. I want you to know that the city has, of course, as I said before, replied to Attorney Bierling's lawsuit, and I have been informed that there have also been many bar complaints filed against Ms. Bierling for many issues that she has stated that may not be factual, may be in fact untruthful. It is sad to hear that an editor from the paper appears to want to find some story to help Miss Bierling's storylines prove true. Well, why not write the facts instead? Why spend time conjuring up stories or saying, I like the mayor, I like the council, I don't like the mayor, I don't like the council? That is not what you're supposed to do. Report the news and report it factually. And just because somebody doesn't like a story that is factual, don't go on a witch hunt and try to change the stories. We are an important city. We are the city that is the hub of the Northeast Kingdom. We have a lot to offer. We have just approved the Master Revitalization Plan. We have wonderful opportunities to work with developers. We have great opportunities to bring in retail, to bring in housing, and there are the mayor and some council members as well as stakeholders who are working so hard with the citizens to make sure that this happens. Of course, it's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen if we remain united and push away all of the other political nonsense. Keep your political nonsense for your campaign. Keep it out of wasting the city's time and money at the taxpayers' expense. It is sad that we have to go through this, but it has happened since day one, since I was elected. And it is very sad that we have even a council member or one or two, past or present, that decided to take that charge. Why? Unnecessary. Why bring complaints against city attorneys? What alderman would do that? Okay, the bottom line is we have good city attorneys. We have great resources. We have fantastic department heads. Why incite them to split? Let them do their work. They are actually working together now, and that is the key. So what I want you to understand is, in spite of all of the dramatic distractions, the council and the mayor are still working hard for you. And we plan on doing this through the end of our reign. I caution you when you come out to vote to please think through who you want sitting at that council. We know not who's going to run yet. We'll know in January. And we know that, as I said, President Vachon has decided not to run. And I'm might be announcing that there are others who decide not to run as well, but we will all know that in January. And I applaud everybody who comes out to run. Citizens should come out and run, but let's do it respectfully. Let's not waste the council's time now. Let's be appropriate and let the city council and the mayor and the department heads run the city and get us the appropriate funds that we need. But it is my opinion from what I have seen that we are now moving out of this state of confusion and this difficult state of affairs. And I look forward to all of the good future that Newport has. And I want you to all be proud of all of the ideas that you brought, your input into what you thought the revitalization plan should have. I am proud that the governor appointed me to the State Board Workforce Task Force, and I am very thrilled to work on his behalf with his very professional people. That is an honor. I continue to be the Women's Commissioner, and I look forward to all the great work that I can do there. I continue to be the Commissioner on the Housing Authority, and I look forward to continuing that great work. I continue to be on the Vermont, Airport Advisory Council, and I look forward to continuing to do that great work. I am here and always have been someone who gives back to the state of Vermont, and I am proud to give back to Newport as well. I have been going into the office during the interim phase that we do not have a city manager, office manager at this point, and everything is being done and appropriately, and it makes you understand and realize that if you just do the work, it's very smooth and it doesn't take that long, but it has opened our eyes as to how much need you really have to have for a city manager, and we have decided we will advertise for one, but also is it more important to have that staff accountant, a CPA in there, or is it more important to have an office manager? And those are the things we are looking at. And it is very important to keep the city running smoothly. So as I said, we are going to be advertising for the city manager whose job description is defined by the charter. So that's very clear, and that will help everything run smoothly. We will make sure that that advertisement gets out timely. We will be advertising for the administrative fire chief position, and we should know soon, hopefully, about the appointment of our fire chief. But now let's talk about the great stuff. I have a Christmas tree. There's beautiful lights out here that NEK-TV has for the holidays. I want you all to have the most wonderful, joyous holiday. I want you to be at ease. Your city is just fine. So you go out, enjoy your families, enjoy your friends, be thankful for what you have, take care of your neighbors, and let's all just stay united. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday, and I look forward to seeing you all in the new year. Happy holidays.